My name is Sean Ogle, and I like romantic, long walks on the beach, and I like talking about freelance writing samples. Those are my two passions in life, beach walks and writing samples. Fortunately for you, we're not talking about the romantic beach walk here. Today, we are talking about freelance writing samples. Everything you need to know to write your samples. I know when you are starting as a new freelancer, it can sometimes be a little intimidating. You're not sure how to write samples. You're not sure what to write. And so today, I'm gonna answer all of those questions so you know exactly how to write killer freelance writing samples that are gonna get you jobs. So if you wanna do that, then, well, let's jump right into it. Okay, real quick, if you don't know who I am, my name's Sean Ogle. I'm the founder of Location Rebel, where since 2009, I've been teaching people how to make money on the internet with their words, which allows them to work from anywhere in the world. I'm currently on a 3-week trip to Australia with my wife and my 2-year-old. We're in Bermagui, Australia, of all places. And you know what? I can still continue to run my business from here. So if you want to build a freelance business that you can literally run from anywhere in the world, go to locationrebel.com/hi, sign up for our free 6-day course, our freelance writer's guide you are going to get with it. It is free and is going to walk you through all the basics for how to do it. Also, at the end of this video, I'm gonna share with you my one secret weapon when it comes to freelance writing samples. I promise you it's worth it, so stick around to the end of the video to learn what that is. Okay, first up, one of the most common questions I hear when it comes to freelance writing samples is, how many do you need? And the great thing is, you don't need that many to get started, but if you have more, then that's great. So rule of thumb, 3 to 5 is a good number of samples to start with if you're just getting going with your freelance writing business. Okay, next major question, what do you write your samples about? I'm gonna give you some prompts here in just a second, but generally speaking, there's kind of 2 routes you can go when you're just starting freelance writing. If you've got a specific skill set, a specific interest, a specific expertise, then cool, you can niche down and you can make that your focus. Or if you don't know what your niche is, you can start as a generalist, which is kind of a niche in itself. That essentially makes you the MacGyver of freelance writers. You can learn about something quickly, you can write topics about just about anything, and that is going to be super useful to a lot of different people. If you're finding yourself drawn to one specific niche and you want to niche down, great. Start writing samples around that. While I don't think job boards are the best way to get clients, I think cold pitching and letters of introduction is the best way. What I would do is go to Upwork, go to freelancer.com, go look at some of the jobs that are out there and see which ones catch your eye. You can certainly apply for those, but if you find yourself wanting to apply to a lot of similar jobs and similar industries, then you should probably write your samples around that industry. But on the other hand, if you're a generalist, you want to show you can write about a lot of different topics and a lot of different styles of writing. So your samples should reflect that. Have some long samples, have some short ones, and have them across a variety of different industries. That is going to show that you are versatile and that you can learn about a topic quickly and write about it, even if it's not something you know a ton about right away. Okay, along with that, you might be saying, okay, that's great, 3 to 5 samples to start. Can you have too many samples? And generally speaking, I don't think so. The more samples you have, that's just the more opportunities you have to show off your skills and show off what you can do. But you don't want to add samples just because you've got it. You want to showcase your best work. So don't throw something up there just to add to your samples. You want to make sure it's really high quality work. And over time, as you get more jobs, as you get more samples, as you become a better writer, you can rotate them in and out throughout your site. So if you get to the point where you've got 10 to 15, maybe that's what you're shooting for. And then if you've got new ones that are better, then just rotate it out with the old ones that might not have been as good. Okay, now let's talk about content. What should these samples be all about? So for me, I like to start with the same basic types of articles. I write a how-to article, a pros and cons article, an ultimate guide article, and a list article. So that might be how to become a freelance writer, the pros and cons of freelance writing, 10 reasons you should not become a freelance writer, the ultimate guide to getting freelance clients. So if my niche was writing about freelance writing, those would be some great samples to get started with. But obviously most of you aren't going to be talking about that. So let's pick something maybe a little bit more obscure. All right, this is totally random, but let's say there's an arborist that wants to hire you. So what are examples of samples you could provide that arborist to show that you know what you're talking about? So it might be the ultimate guide to trimming your own trees, the pros and cons to trimming your own trees, 10 reasons to hire an arborist for your garden at home. The reasons I like using those templates, the how-to, the ultimate guide, the pros and the cons, and the list, are because those are essentially the most common forms of blog content you are going to find out there. They're generally clickable, they're interesting, they're easy to write, and they're going to be valuable for most of your clients. So if you show off your skills and being able to write that type of content, that's going to bode well for you when it comes to getting clients. So what I would do personally, if I was working as a freelance generalist and just getting started, I would write 2 articles in each of those categories. Each article would be a completely different niche. So that's going to show that I know how to write different types of content. That's going to show that I can write different links of the content. And that's going to show that I can write in a variety of industries. That's essentially making me the Swiss Army knife of freelance writers and is going to make it a lot easier for me to find jobs. This also brings up the question, how long should your samples be? And again, this is going to showcase your versatility. Most of the time, your clients are probably going to ask for content in the 700 to 1500 word range. So what I would do is I would make sure most of my content falls into that range. I would have 1 or 2 samples that might get up to 2,000 to 3,000 so that I can show I can go in depth in a topic. And I would also have 1 or 2 samples in the 500 word range because that's going to show I can write compelling content succinctly, which is not necessarily the easiest thing to do. All right, now I promised you I would give you a secret weapon when it comes to writing your pitches. So what is it? It's the one thing that pretty much everybody's been talking about lately, and that is ChatGPT. If you don't know what ChatGPT is, it's essentially an AI service. So what you can do is you can give it an input, and then the AI is going to spit back out what you ask for. So for instance, if I say, give me 10 facts about Bermagui, Australia, it's going to give me 10 facts about Bermagui, Australia. So how is this relevant for you as a freelance writer? Because essentially it completely erases writer's blocks. So let's say you want to write a writing sample about cable boxes. You can literally go to ChatGPT and give me 10 ideas for writing a blog post about cable boxes. And then it's going to give you 10 ideas. Then you can take the one you want and say, write 10 headlines for this blog post that are going to be compelling and get people to click. And ChatGPT is going to put on its copywriting hat and it's going to make that idea more compelling. And then from there, you can say, give me a bullet point outline about this blog post about cable boxes. And it's going to give you an outline. And then all of a sudden, you've got an idea, you've got a compelling headline, you've got an outline. It only took you 2 minutes, and that's going to make it much easier to write your samples. A lot of freelance writers are scared about ChatGPT and AI and everything that's happening. But you should not be scared because all it's going to do is provide a tool that is going to make you more effective at your job. And so the freelance writers that embrace AI and embrace tools like this and learn how to use it properly are going to have such a huge advantage over all these people that are either scared of it and don't want to do anything with it, or they try and get it to completely replace them and end up creating work that isn't as good. So honestly, I highly recommend you take the time to look. There's a link below to go check that out. So there you go. That is everything you need to know about writing samples. Here's the biggest thing to keep in mind. Don't overthink your writing samples. Add some personality in them. Make sure it showcases you in the best light in your writing style and your personality. And if you do that, then it really doesn't matter what it's about. So please don't overthink it. I know it can be overwhelming, but it is definitely not the be-all, end-all when it comes to your writing business. And one thing I always like to say that I think you should keep in mind, digital ink doesn't dry. So that means you can always change it. You can always edit it. You can always add new posts and delete ones that you don't like. So don't think that everything has to be absolutely perfect to get started because it never will be. But you should get started because there is so much opportunity out there for freelance writers on the internet right now. There's such a demand for content, and I truly believe freelance writing is the best way for most new entrepreneurs to get started on the internet. So if you found this valuable, maybe now go subscribe, but more importantly, go to locationrebel.com/hi. It's going to walk you through the entire process of starting a freelance writing business. You are going to get our free freelance writer's guide that is going to outline everything you need to know to start a freelance writing business. My name's Sean Ogle of Location Rebel, on location, Bermagui, Australia. And now I got to get back to my wife and 2-year-old because we have a long drive to the next place that, like I said, I don't even know what that place is. We're gonna be in Melbourne for 8 days after that. We got that booked, but tonight, I don't know where we're going. So maybe that's all the more reason to go, figure that out. I'm gonna do that. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.